So today we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally we start with a little bit of updates and announcements and training, but today, or updates and announcements on a slideshow. Today we're just going to get right into it. So, over my career, there's been a number of times where it's been important to get back to the basics, right? The basics are the foundation to every single business. If you don't have the basics mastered, it's kind of like trying to build a business that is on quicksand. It's very difficult to do, right? If you don't have a solid foundation. So what we're going to be talking about today, the things that I'm going to be teaching you are the foundational principles that you want to be teaching to your new team members when they come in the door. Success in network marketing looks like duplication, and duplication comes from simplicity. I'm going to say that again. Success in network marketing comes from duplication, and duplication comes from simplicity. The first thing that we have to understand is we have to understand the main responsibilities of a network marketing professional. That's where I want to start today. So if I had to break down a job description, if I had to break it down and say, okay, what is it exactly that we do? This is what the job description would look like. Okay, first of all, number one, we simply notify people of what we're up to. Okay, so we notify people of what we're up to. Number two, we invite them to take a closer look. Okay, number three, we follow up. And number four, we collect decisions. This is what we do over and over and over again. And every activity that we talk about tonight is going to fall into one of these categories. So when we talk about income producing activities, really, those activities are all focused around one of these four things. And so then if you're not doing one of them, then they all tend to kind of fall apart. You've got to be doing these things seamlessly on a regular basis. Now, the first thing that I want to really get into is you have to understand your role. Hang on, we're getting a little bit of feedback. Let me see where that's coming from. All right, got you muted, Tori. There we go. So first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk a little bit about just notifying people of what you're up to. So a lot of times people get hung up on reaching out to people because they don't want to sell someone or try to sell someone a product. They don't want to try and recruit them into the business, right? Whether it's fear of rejection, whether it's just that uncomfortable feeling. How many of you have avoided reaching out to somebody or having a conversation with someone because you didn't want to have that feeling like you were trying to sell a friend, family member, or colleague a product? Just about every one of us, right? Drop a comment section if you've ever been in that situation before. So here's what I want you to understand. First of all, when you reach out to someone and you have a conversation with them, your agenda is not to try and sell them a product. And I know that sounds kind of like, wait a second, I do want to sell them a product. I do want to get them swabbed. I do want to get them into Euphoria. It is not to try and convince them to join the business when you initially reach out to have someone, right? Initially, all we're doing is when I reach out to someone, my main responsibility, my main role is to get them to a third-party tool. That's the number one objective, is just to get somebody to take a closer look at what it is that I'm up to. And I think the biggest mistake that most people make in network marketing is that they tend to give the presentation during the invitation, right? They tend to throw up on people. I did this for the first couple of years that I got involved in this business, right? Let me give you an example of what throwing up on somebody might sound like. So let's say that I reached out to Lorelei. Lorelei, how you doing? Things are good. How's the family? Are you guys holding up okay? Yeah, great. Well, listen, is there anything that I can do for you guys? No. And she comes back and says, well, what are you up to? Well, funny you should ask, Lorelei. Let me tell you, listen, I just got involved in this company. It's called Euphoria. And you know what? I'm so excited about it. They just pre-launched. And you know what? They've got this new company called One You, and it's launching right now. We've got this amazing DNA nutritional product. And you know what? It's got a 35-page wellness report that's going to give you the direct coordinates to your optimal health. And not just that, but then you get this customized nutrition. And look, this customized nutrition's got your name on the back of it. And the person that's on the other side of the conversation of the phone is going, oh my gosh, I better avoid Travis now for the next 30 days until he calms down, right? And here's the thing. Everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold. So a lot of times when you're pitching, you're met with skepticism, you're met with resistance, right? Because nobody wants to be sold. So what we have to do is we have to learn how to navigate around that initial skepticism. So what you have to understand is that people are willing to do things in small steps. There was a study that was done in England. In the study, they went to this first group of homes. And they had this big, ugly sign. And so they go to this, they go and knock on each homeowner's door. And one by one, they say, hey, listen, would it be okay if we put this sign in your yard that says, slow down, children are playing? And the homeowner took one look at this big, ugly sign. And they're like, I know you're trying to do good, but man, I don't want that big, ugly sign in my yard. And so literally less than 5% of the homeowners agreed to allow them to put the sign in their garden, they call it yard. So then they went to the second group of homes, and they had a much smaller, non-obtrusive sign. Same thing. They said, listen, we're trying to do good, trying to get the traffic to slow down. Would it be okay if we put this small sign in your yard that says, slow down, children are playing? This time, they had about 7 out of 10 homeowners that said yes, they would allow them to put the small sign in the yard. But get this, they waited for about 30 days, and then they went back to the 70% that said yes. And they said the sign is too small. Would it be okay if we put this bigger sign in your yard that people would be able to see? This time, out of the 70% that said yes to the small sign originally, 60% of them agreed to allow them to put the bigger sign in their yard. So what does that mean? It means that people are more willing to agree to do something small before they agree to do something much bigger, right? So listen, in the game of baseball, I'm a big baseball fan. So let's just say that you have your home plate, right? And then you've got first base over here. Now, in baseball, if you step up to the plate, and your objective when you walk up to the plate is to try to hit a home run, meaning you are swinging for the fences. Unfortunately, you're probably going to strike out about 9 out of 10 times. You might get a hold of one and put it out of the yard, but the problem is you're still batting 100. And so what I would equate that to is a lot of people, when they have an initial conversation with someone in network marketing, they try to hit it over the fence. They try to hit a home run. They try to get a customer. They try to sell their product. They try to bring them into the business right out of the gate. And unfortunately, they're struggling and their percentages are very low. Doesn't mean that it won't always work, but in most cases it doesn't. So for me, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to step up to the plate and I'm shortening up my swing so that I can just get on first base, right? If I can just get on first base, then I shorten up my swing and I'm not trying to hit a home run. Now I'm going to get on first base probably about 3 or 4 out of 10 times, 300 to 400%, right? You bet over 300 and you're a pro, right? So the key is just getting on first base. So what does first base look like for me? It's just to get somebody to watch a 7-minute video, you guys. I just want to get them to the 7-minute video. I just want them to see what I'm up to. I just want them to see how cool our product is. I still believe our product is the all-star. I know we've got all this cool stuff that's coming, but I'm going to say forget about all that right now, and let's just focus on what we do have in the basics right now. We have this amazing product that has brought in tens of thousands of customers, the highest retention rate I've ever seen in 15 years in network marketing. We have an amazing product that people need right now. You know what else? Now more than ever before in the history of our economy, people are looking for solutions and they have no idea where to turn. They have no idea where to turn. People are going to, every one of you, raise your hand if you know someone that will go to bed tonight saying a prayer asking for financial solutions. Every single one of you. Guys, people are hurting, they're suffering, they're struggling, and we have the ability to be able to make a difference in their life. We have the ability to be able to throw them a life preserver. It's up to them to grab it, but all I can do is just keep throwing life preservers out there and at least notifying people of what I'm up to. So first and foremost, if you're struggling with this, I don't want to feel like I'm coming across like I'm taking advantage of somebody's challenging times that they're going through. I feel a sense of responsibility right now that I have to go out there and notify people, as many people as I can, of what I have in my hands. If you truly believed that this vehicle has the ability to be able to take you from where you are to where it is that you want to go in life, to be able to determine your financial freedom day. You know what your financial freedom day is? It's the day that you no longer have to trade time for dollars. You can do the things that you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. Financial freedom day, the day that you no longer have to trade time for dollars. You can do the things that you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. If you really believed that Euphoria was the vehicle that's going to take you from where you are to where you want to go, you would want to tell everybody about it. You would want every single person to know what you know. If you truly believe that this product has the capability of being able to boost your immune system, to be able to provide the solutions to the genetic challenges and dispositions that you've inherited from your mother and father, you would want everybody on this product right now. Everyone. I had somebody come to my door the other day, and she was just stopping by. She used to actually live in my home, and she's become a friend of mine. She stopped by because a package arrived here, We started off with her just out front, me inside, social distancing, 6 feet away, having a conversation about her, how she's doing, how she's feeling. And the conversation turned to health and wellness. And she started talking about all these different products that she's taking and all of it. And I just said, listen, have you heard of DNA nutrition? And that led to a more detailed conversation. Then it was, hey, hang on one second. I grabbed my DNA report and I came back and I showed her how this all works. By the time we were done, I was swabbing her in my backyard by the pool. And she was just stopping by. Why did I do that? Because I feel an obligation to let her know what I know. So my hope is that by the time you get off this call tonight, I will have increased your belief system, not only in the products, but the business opportunity that we have, to the point where you feel a little bit more of an obligation, not a concern, not a hesitation, that you don't want to reach out to people because you're concerned about, what might they think? And you look at it more of an obligation. I've got to go tell people what I have. I've got to let them know. It's up to them to make it. I'm not here to sell and close and pitch them, but I do have to notify them of what I'm up to. So first and foremost, number one is I just want to get them on first base. I just want to get them to watch the 7-minute video. So back to what we were talking about. What is my main responsibility when I make contact with somebody? It's just to get them here. I just want to get them here, right? Because I know that more people are more willing to agree to do something small before they agree to do something much bigger. Now, once they get here, what do I do from there? I want to move them to second base. Now, the goal is to move people from one objective to the next in as short of period of time as possible. Because you see, if I say to Beverly how great this product is, and I send her a 7-minute video, and then I follow up with Beverly 3 weeks later, am I really conveying value through my actions? Not really, right? If I sent this to Beverly and I says, hey, Beverly, listen, if I sent you a short 7-minute video that explained a little bit more about what it is that I'm working on or what it is that I'm doing right now to protect my immunity, would you be willing to take a look at it and let me know what you think? Beverly's going to say, sure. Yeah, send it over. And then I'm going to say, well, listen, Beverly, when do you think you might be able to take a look? She's going to say, well, I could take a look at it tonight. I'm going to say, great. So if I called you tomorrow, will you have had a chance to take a look at it yet? Sure. Got nothing else to do right now. I'm home. Okay, great. What time tomorrow is best for me to call you and follow up? What I'm doing in that process is I'm building value. Remember, dollars always follow value. So in the fact that I'm expressing value, because I'm following through and I have a sense of urgency there, it conveys value. So now I've committed her to the 7-minute video. So now when I follow up tomorrow and we have a conversation, Beverly's going to have some questions. And behind those questions is a sincere interest. So now what am I going to do? So now during the follow-up process, I'm going to answer some questions. Now, what is my overall agenda with the whole process that I take a prospect through? We're going to jump ahead to home base for just a moment. My number one objective is to collect a decision. Okay? That's what we do as network marketers. We're here to collect decisions. Some will, some won't. So what next? Our job is just to collect decisions, but not just any kind of decision, you guys. It's to collect well-informed decisions. You see, what happens is if I go to Beverly and I give her all this information right up front, right out of the gate, she's going to form an opinion. But that opinion is not going to be based on all the facts. Because I will have given her so much information at one time, she's immediately going to just go, you know what, that's not for me, I'm not interested. Baby steps. Right? So I've got to start small, get her to first base, then I get her to second base, follow up, we have some questions. Well, now guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, listen, those are some great questions. What I'd love to do is I'd love to introduce you to a group that we have on Facebook. It's a DNA testimonial group that's got close to 9,000 people that are in this group that are all just sharing their experiences of how this product is making a difference for them. If I sent you a direct link to the group, I don't send invitations, by the way, through Facebook because they get lost too easily. I send the link. If I sent you a direct link to this group, would you be willing to click on it, request to join, and I can add you and just tag you on some relevant information? Sure, I can do that. Boom, I'm moving her to the next step, right? Now she gets inside of a group. She reads Garth's 1-year anniversary testimonial, right? She reads the 1-year testimonials of all these people that are sharing this. Then she goes down and goes, oh my gosh, look at this testimonial of lupus. And then you know what happens in her mind? My mom has lupus. Then she reads a testimonial about dementia and she says, oh my gosh, my grandma has dementia. Maybe this could help her. So in her mind, she starts to connect dots on how this product could make a difference. And even if she's not ready to give you a decision today, guess what's going to happen? She's just going to keep getting dripped on. That's why it's so important that you guys are constantly sharing updates and testimonials in this group, right? Because if we're all contributing to the group, it just creates a drip system. It's almost like an email follow-up sequence, right? That just keeps constantly following up with your prospect on your behalf. And pretty soon, guess what? Now, they're ready to give you a decision. So if I had to draw this and it looked like more like a funnel, this is what it would look like. Okay, so it would look more like an upside down. We don't use the word P. We don't use the P word. I can't use the word pyramid. So we'll call it a triangle. We don't use the word pyramids, right? In this business. My marker's dying on me. Let's see if I can find another one here. Okay. I'll find one in a minute. All right. So here's what it would look like. So first of all, everything starts with a conversation. Everything starts with a conversation. If you're not having conversations, it's like being stuck in the mud. You're going to have a hard time really building your business. You've got to have conversations. Right now, there should be no shortage of conversations out there. Everybody's home. Everybody has time. Everybody wants to talk about, it's crazy right now. When I call people up and say, how are things going? I'm like, you better be ready, because people are just like, they're ready to talk. They want to tell you how things are going. So just having conversations is where it all starts. If you're not having conversations, you're not in business. So it all starts with conversations. And for me, I'm just asking questions. I'm not calling people to pitch them, to sell them. That's not my agenda. My goal is just to reach out, have a conversation, and right now just check on people's well-being. How are you doing? How's the family? How are the kids holding up? How's Joe and his job right now? Has this affected his job at all? Are you, how are you feeling about the future right now? Right? I'm just asking questions, but I know those questions are going to evoke some sincere dialogue. And in that sincere dialogue, typically I'm going to find an opportunity where I can sell them. I can tell them, listen, hey, have you ever considered adding an extra income stream? I got to tell you guys, there will never be that this is my opinion. There will never be a greater opportunity or a better time as far as people's willingness to at least take a look at another income opportunity than right now. I don't mean to turn this into an opportunity. I'm not saying that you turn people's unfortunate circumstances into opportunity. I look at it like I'm serving. I look at it like I'm making a difference in people's lives, and I'm providing hope, right? But I'm telling you right now, there are so many people that are sitting at home right now, and they are worried. They're losing sleep at night. And if you bridge that conversation of, have you ever considered starting a home-based business? Have you ever just considered adding an extra income stream? Let me tell you my story. Let me tell you my story. Let me tell you my story. Your story is the most valuable tool that you have. And it doesn't matter what your story is or even how much success you've had. Your story can be, listen, you know what? I was working at the bank. And, and I've been there for a couple of years. And I got to tell you that I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I wasn't excited about going to work anymore. I really wanted to stay at home with the kids. And you know what? I had a friend of mine that reached out to me and shared this opportunity with me that you can kind of, get started with building in your part-time or spare time. And you know what? I decided, hey, you know what? I'd like to give it a shot. I'll still go to work full-time to pay my bills, but in my part-time or spare time, why not work on building my fortune? And so I got involved in this little side business. And you know what? I've been doing it for about 6 months now. And I got to tell you, I've been introduced to this community, and this community is amazing. They're all positive. They're all inspirational. Everybody is talking about dreaming bigger and thinking bigger. You know what? It's got me even believing that I can really achieve some of my goals and dreams in life. And I'm learning so much about business and entrepreneurship. And I got to tell you, you know what? I started to create a little extra income for my family. We haven't made a fortune yet, but you know what? We started to make a little extra money. And I'm so thankful that we did that, because now that this has hit, I have this extra little income that's coming in, and it's making a difference for my family. It's allowing me to be able to go buy groceries. So let me ask you a question. Would you be at all open to looking at another opportunity, an income producing opportunity right now? Yes. Okay, great. Well, Garth, here's what I'd love to do. I'd love to send you a little 7-minute video that just to give you a little bit of a teaser of what it is that I'm working on. If I sent that over to you, would you be willing to take a look at it and let me know what you think? So just having a conversation, asking questions, right? Questions are always the answer. So I'm just asking lots of questions. Excuse me. And through those questions, they always end up with me sharing my story, right? I did this today. I was talking with somebody and he was talking a little bit about his uncertainty. He owns a restaurant. He's uncertain about his future. And I says, listen, you know what? I totally understand how you feel. I can relate. Back in 2008, when the economy shifted, my business shut down. We owned a lead generation company, provided leads to the mortgage industry. Mortgage industry dried up and we literally lost everything. And unfortunately, it just kept going on and on and on, and to the point where we actually started focusing on a different area. And you know what? That area has led me to where I am today. Because we decided to start going down that different path, you know what? It allowed us to be able to build this home-based business. And I no longer have employees and overhead and stress. And so, you know what I would tell you is sometimes you go through challenges in life to push you down a different path to exactly where you're supposed to be. So my question to you would be, are you open right now to looking at other business opportunities or other income streams that you can build from home right now? So you see how you're just sharing your story, and it doesn't have to be even a huge success story, but I want you to know, I did cough, Beverly. I'm sorry. I've got allergies, hay fever. I promise I don't have the coronavirus. So I'm just telling you that your story is your number one asset. So starting with conversations, right? But my conversations are always doing one thing. What are they doing? They're pointing towards a 7-minute video, right? You know, one of my favorite things to ask people, this is kind of a funny one to ask. Who can I do this with? So, Ryan, can I call on you for a moment? He's smiling because he knows I was going to call on him.
Of course.
Hey, Ryan, can I ask you, first of all, how are things going? How's life treating you right now?
It's going.
Okay. I know it's kind of crazy. Life's tough right now. I totally get it. We're all kind of feeling that uncertainty. Let me ask you a question. Are you making more money than you can spend right now?
No. I mean, luckily I'm stuck at home, so I'm not spending a lot of money, but no, I could spend more than I have.
I totally get that. Hey, listen, are you open to making more money right now?
Always.
Awesome. Well, listen, I've recently gotten started with a business that I am building from home. We've got plenty of time right now. And I have to tell you that I'm really excited about it. I see a really bright future, especially with home-based business right now. And I really think that there's an opportunity to make some serious money here. I'd love to just get your opinion on it. If I sent you over a presentation, 30-minute presentation that explained a little bit more about what I'm up to, would you be willing to take a look at it and let me know what you think?
Yes. Anything that gives me a break from watching Tiger King, I'm all about it.
I have never had anybody, just so you guys know, in that conversation right there, I've never had anyone go, you know, Travis, yeah, I'm making so much money, I can't afford to spend it all, but thanks for asking. No one has ever said that to me. And in fact, the response that I always get is, no, but I wish that I was. They always laugh. Now, again, all of these different approaches are because there's no one size fit all, right? Everybody's a little bit different. You have different relationships with different people. That's going to work a little bit better with a warm market than it would a cold market. I mean, I'm not going to ask some stranger, hey, listen, are you making, more money than you can spend? And they're like, what are you talking about, right? It's got to be someone that you know. But these are questions that I ask my friends, and they laugh, and it's a lighthearted conversation that ultimately leads to what? An invitation. Now, for me, I lead with the 7-minute video as a soft approach. Like it's kind of like a baby step. It's a small, teeny little sign in the yard. If it's somebody that's really open to opportunity, and I know they're a business-minded individual, I send them my 30-minute recorded YouTube presentation. So to answer your question, yes, the 30-minute presentation, if you go to my YouTube channel, Travis Flaherty on YouTube, you will find all kinds of presentations. I would always just go to the last one because it's probably the most relevant information. And I think we've got 2 or 3 that we've loaded up there. I think we just loaded one that has Garth and Aaron and Tiffany and all. So there's all kinds of wonderful presentations that you can just share with them if you're approaching about the business. So 7-minute video, or it could be the 30-minute video, depending on the nature of your conversation. And then what am I doing from there? I'm following up, right? Now, what you have to understand is that a lot of you might say, how do you get them back on the phone? Like I send these videos and I can never get them back on the phone. Anybody ever have that problem before? It can be challenging, right? So here's how you avoid that. And it just goes back to your training with Eric Worre. If you haven't taken the Eric Worre trainings in your back office, you got to take those trainings because there's some skill sets that he teaches. The 8 steps to contacting and inviting. It works. It makes all the difference in the world, right? So I could just say, hey, Ryan, if I sent you this video, would you be willing to take a look at it? He says, yeah. I said, great, I'm going to send it over. I'll give you a call in a couple of days. I'm going to have a hard time getting Ryan back on the phone. But if I say, hey, Ryan, if I send it over to you, will you take a look at it? So that's my invitation, right? So I invite him to take a look. He says, yeah. So I invite him, number one. I say, okay, great. When do you think you might be able to take a look? He says, oh, I can take a look at it tonight. I got plenty of time. I don't want to watch Tiger King anymore. Okay, great. So if I called you tomorrow, which basically is me confirming, if I called you tomorrow, you'll have had a chance to take a look? Yep. Great. What time tomorrow is best for you? 4 o'clock works great, Travis. Perfect. I'll give you a call 4 o'clock tomorrow. Got to go. Bye-bye. So just these extra steps right here will alleviate you from having to chase people. So I follow up, and then usually Ryan's going to have some questions. And if I know Ryan, he's going to ask me all kinds, is this to have methylated, blah, blah, blah. Ryan's going to ask all these scientific questions that I don't know the answers to. I'm going to say, Ryan, those are great questions. I'm not a scientist, and I don't know a lot about that, but here's what I do know. And I've been taking this product every day, and I feel so much better. Like I just mentally feel better because I know that I'm giving my body what it needs when it needs it. I feel better right now because I'm keeping my immunity high, which is very important. I've noticed this and this and this. If you have a testimonial, share it. But what I could do, Ryan, is I could get you some more detailed information that probably, or put you in front of somebody that could answer those questions. In fact, if I sent you over this interview that we did with one of our product experts, his name's Joel Guerin, that really breaks down the product in great detail, because I know based on Ryan's questions that is important to him. So I'm going to say, Ryan, if I sent you over this 60-minute, interview that was done with one of the product formulators, telling you it's fascinating stuff, would you be willing to take a look at it? Let me know what you think. Ryan says, sure, send it over. And Ryan would eat that up because Ryan's the type of individual that wants that information. Not everybody wants the science, but Ryan would. So guess what? My next exposure is Joel. And you know what I'm going to do? And again, where would I find that? On my YouTube channel. It's also in Euphoria Legacy under units. You can find it's the product interview with Joel Guerin. So what do? So somebody that wants more detailed information, I put them in front of that video. And I let Joel do all the science work for me. And usually by this point, I will have answered enough questions so that when I follow up with Ryan again, say, Ryan, any other questions? No? And at this point, Ryan's going to thank you for sharing that, Dr. Aaron. So at this point, the value will have been built enough that I can say, well, listen, Ryan, are you ready to get swabbed? You ready to see what your DNA report says about you? And he's either going to say yes, or he's going to say, well, you know what, I'd like to have a little bit more information, because I know Ryan, I'd like to have a little bit more information about the B vitamins, and I need to know if these were grown at 7,000 altitude or higher, and I need to know if they were grown in the Swiss Alps or over here in the Andes, because there's a difference, right? So then I would have to say, well, listen, if you've got those type of questions, Ryan, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to schedule some time with one of the product formulators, and I'm going to go ahead and see if he, I want to introduce you to him. He's got an amazing story. He's been working on this product for 10 years, and I know he'll be able to answer those questions better than I can, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to move him to the next exposure. Is it the Swiss Alps, Ryan? Is it better there? Or is it 7,000 altitude? What's the altitude, just out of curiosity? I'm just teasing. So you guys get my point, right? My point is I just keep moving it from one exposure to the next. You got to understand that you're going to encounter two types of people. You're going to encounter skeptics, and you're going to encounter cynics. Every now and then you'll encounter a believer. The believers are just kind of laydowns. They're just like, oh my gosh, DNA nutrition, I got to have this. Where do I sign up? Let me get swabbed, right? If it would be that easy, we would all be rich, but it's not, because most people are programmed to be skeptical. If somebody knocked on your door right now, while we were doing this webinar, and you kind of peek out the door, and you're like, who's at my door right now? 6-foot quarantine, like who's out there? And then all of a sudden, the person's holding a clipboard. And you would go, oh, what's this guy trying to sell me? Like your initial reaction would be skepticism. You know why? Because we've been programmed our whole life. Because we get sold. We get in the car, what do you hear? Advertisements. You get on YouTube. I just want to watch the funny video. Oh my gosh, I got to watch a 13-second commercial now before I get to the stupid funny commercial video. Right? So everywhere we go, we're getting pitched. We've learned to tune it out. So what you have to do is, as a professional, is to learn to navigate around that initial skepticism. There's nothing wrong with a skeptic. You know what a skeptic is? A skeptic is somebody that's willing to at least explore more information before they make a well-informed decision. A cynic, on the other hand, is no matter what information you give them, they're not going to change their mind. And I don't waste my time with cynics. I don't mind skeptics. Skeptics just need to be taken through a process. So number one, if you've introduced this to 50 people, nobody has said yes, everyone is telling you no, then if I were coaching you, what I would look at first and foremost is the process that you're taking your customer through, because chances are you're falling short on building the value, because dollars always follow value, and nobody's going to buy your product or nobody's going to join your business until they see the value. And the value is built through the process. I'm going to say that again. The value is built through the process. You have to take people through this process. And if you try to give them too much at one time, you're going to struggle. So let's talk a little bit about some of the systems, right? Because again, without structure, there's chaos. Without structure, there is chaos. So how do we take people through a duplicatable system? You might be the best recruiter on the planet. And I see a lot of people in network marketing that are fantastic recruiters. But let me tell you something. There's a difference between being a recruiter and a sponsor. Okay, a recruiter is just focused about bringing them in, bringing them in, bringing them in, bringing them in. Think about the job of a recruiter. Just to bring them in and get them placed, bring them in, get them placed. After they turn them over and get them in, it's kind of like I'm done with them, right? Think about the word sponsor from AA, right? So at AA, if I have a sponsor, I can call them at any time of the day. I know they're going to be there. They're going to show up. They're going to help me be successful. They're going to teach me some of the skills that I need to be successful. And so for me, there's a difference between being a sponsor and a good sponsor. Let me tell you how I work with somebody. So when I bring somebody in, the first 30 days, I'm taking them under the wing, right? Like I'm there for them, readily available. I'm attentive to their calls and text messages. If they need a presentation done for a prospect, I'm there. Three-way calls, priority for me. I'm going to be there every step of the way for them for the first 30 days. After those first 30 days, I kind of take a little bit of a step back. It's kind of like I'm the mama bird, the daddy bird. Why don't I be the mama bird? I'm the daddy bird that's gonna, I'm there and I'm just kind of gonna give them a little push, right? Let them fly a little bit on their own. But I'm still there to guide them and instruct them. But let me tell you something that I won't do is I will never do something for someone that they can do for themselves. I will never do something for someone that they can do for themselves. My email in my inbox on Facebook is flooded. It gets flooded all the time. You know what it gets flooded with? Customer service issues. I'm not customer service. I'm not. That's not my role and my responsibility. You know what else it gets flooded with? Questions that if the person would just do a Google search or go to euphoriascience.com/resources and pull up the PDF for the comp plan or somewhere else. So I can answer the question, or I can say, well, here's a link, go download the PDF and you'll be able to find that information. Why? Because I want to teach that person how to be independent, not dependent. Because I've built businesses over the years where the people were dependent on me and it was no fun. And it also created a bottleneck effect. Great leaders teach their people how to fly. And so part of that is learning the basic fundamentals that are going to help people be successful. The first system that I am just absolutely convinced on, and I see that we've gotten away from this a little bit, is our ATM system. I believe that our ATM system is the most valuable tool and resource that we have as a team. I believe that it is that important to understand how to build ATM. For those of you that don't know what ATM stands for, it stands for add, tag, and message. Add, tag, and message. So here's the thing. All right, so a lot of people get involved and they do things again that work for them, right? Let's say that you're a doctor and you go recruit all these people because you're a doctor. That's a problem. You know why? Because you can't duplicate being a doctor. Does that make sense? You can't duplicate that. So the people that are in your business are never going to be able to do the same thing that you did. And I see that happen all of the time. Excuse me, I'm coughing again, Beverly. Let's say that sometimes you get people who want to make money now, but they don't want to follow the system. So they would rather go do it their way. What I want you to understand is this is not Burger King. You can't always have it your way in network marketing. You have to trust the system. You have to trust your leaders. you have to marry the process and divorce the results. The best leaders that I know were always first the best followers. And they learned the system and they learned how to teach others. You can go use blogs, you can use websites, you can use emails, you can use fan pages, those type of things. They're all extras that bring people to you. But remember that what you also do has to work for the masses. If you want to, listen, if you want to dine with the masses, it has to work for the masses. Right? Excuse me, if you want to dine with the classes, it has to work for the masses. Mentor used to always say that to me. You know why? Because I was a pretty good sales guy. Like, I was good at sales from the time I was young. I remember being a little kid at garage sales, and we'd have a garage sale, and literally I would be out there being like, listen, this TV, let me tell you. And I'd be like 8 years old. I like to sell. I like the mechanics of selling. I like the dynamics of it all. But the problem is that most people don't like to sell. They actually avoid selling because they don't want to be met with rejection. And so early in my network marketing career, here's what would happen. I would go out and I would sell like crazy. I would set these huge expectations. Many cases, they were false expectations. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know what I didn't know. Then I'd bring all these people in, and then 90 days later, nobody would be left. So then I would go and I'd do the same thing again. And I'd put in another 20 to 30 people. And then 30 days later, I'd have like 4 left. And I remember just being so disheartened, like a year into this, and I'd put like 50 people into my business and not one was on auto ship. And I was like, oh, this business sucks. Like, I remember I was just like, I just cannot do this business. And I remember talking to a mentor, and he said to me, Travis, you need to get out of your way. It's like, what? He says, you need to get out of your way. I says, what do you mean? And he says, what you're doing is you're leaving a wake of dead bodies behind you, because you're so good at what you do at bringing people in the door. But the problem is that people don't have that same ability to do what you're doing. Therefore, they fail. So I share all of this with you because it's so important that we follow this system. So with ATM, someone can launch their business right away by going live on their Facebook page and then adding people to their group. They don't have to know anything about the products. They don't have to know anything about anything other than just where to point people to get more information. You can just add people to a group. How many times have you talked to someone who isn't telling you no, but they're not telling you yes either? Anybody? Does that happen often? All the time, right? So listen, the idea is to expose, to involve, and to upgrade. I want you to write those 3 things down. The idea is to expose, to involve, and to upgrade. It's kind of like a funnel. You're just taking people through a process. The idea is to get them from one exposure to the next. Again, in the old days, we would send somebody a sample. Then you would meet over coffee. Then you would invite them to a meeting, an opportunity meeting that was happening in your weekly meeting or whatever the case might be. And I say the old days. I know some people still build that way. But that was kind of the old school approach to network marketing. And it still works, by the way. There's nothing better than belly to belly. But I'm just saying that people don't necessarily have that. They're busier today than they ever were. And so it's easier to just add them to a simple group and let that group go to work for you. I don't have to leave my home to share an opportunity to go train somebody. And this process is literally replacing 3-way calls for me. It gives you true freedom. How many of you want to build a business where literally you're on the phone 15 hours a day and you're doing 3-way calls all day long? I don't. Do you know why I'm in business? For my family, not the expense of my family. And I can look and see, I have the landscape of the entire organization, and I see some leaders that are addicted to being needed. Let me tell you guys something. I love you guys, but I don't want to be needed. I want you to be independent. I want this to be your business. I want to teach you the skills for you to learn how to fly, but the last thing that I want is for your business to be dependent upon me. So here's what you want. You want automation. You want duplication. You want true freedom. So follow the system. How simple is it to add somebody to a group, tag them on a video, then tag them on some testimonials, and then add them to Facebook Messenger? I'm going to write those steps down, okay? So ATM. For those of you that are new, that are watching for the first time, this is our acronym, ATM, right? Here's how it works. First of all, you simply add them to our group, right? That's step number 1. We have a group called DNA Nutrition Testimonials. Add them to the group. Okay. We've got about close to 9,000 members that are in that group. And you can add them to that group anytime. Number 2, once they're in the group, you tag them on information in the group, right? Now, if somebody's not on Facebook, it's a little bit more challenging. I do understand that. I personally screenshot testimonials that I think that they would enjoy, and I send those over to them in an email. It's a little bit more work to do it that way. But the majority of the people that you're talking to will be on Facebook, but not always. Depends on your market, your demographic, those type of things. So it may require you to get a little bit creative. You might actually have to start a blog, right? A blog that has a website address that you go buy at GoDaddy for $9.99. You forward the domain right there on GoDaddy. It's simple to do to whatever your blog address is. So you could be oneudnatestimonials.com, I don't know, whatever. And you buy that link, and whoever's not on Facebook, you say, oh, well, that's okay. Here, just click on this link. And then you know what? They click on the link, and they go to your blog, and what do you have on the blog? All the testimonials that are shared and all the information that's being shared in 1UDNA testimonials. So you might have to do a little bit of extra work if that's your audience, right? So you tag them on information in the group. I just had somebody who I shared the 7-minute video. I wanted you guys to see this in action. So I put it up in Euphoria Legacy group yesterday. It was a conversation that I was having with somebody. I invited them to look at the 7-minute video. That was a back and forth voice message where I literally just checked in. How's the family? How are things going? What's new and exciting in your world? She came back. You know what? Building a basement right now. Super excited about it. Jason's finally building me the dream basement that I've always had. We're really excited about it. What are you guys working on? What are you up to? I says, well, listen, we're working on, DNA nutrition right now. It's super exciting. What are you guys doing for your immune system? This is all voice back and forth. Well, I'm just, taking my normal vitamins and things like that. Sounds interesting. I says, great. Listen, if I sent you over a 7-minute video, would you be willing to take a look at it? Let me know what you think. She says, sure. Then she came back. This looks really interesting. Had a bunch of questions. What did I do? Moved her right into the ATM group, and I tagged her on information. So tag them on it, and then what's the message? What's the end part? What you're doing is now you're going to create a messenger with your prospect and your upline power team, your upline success team. So if I have Garth and Aaron, and then I have Ryan, and then I have, Catherine, and then I have Lorelei, and this is the prospect here. What I would do at this point is I would just start a Facebook Messenger, and I'm going to say, hey, prospects, I want to introduce you to some of my friends. They've all been involved with this product now for an extended period of time, so they have a pretty good scale of how the product has worked. And they've all got some amazing stories. And you know what? Some of them are product experts as well. Prospect, I want you to meet Sam. I want you to meet Ryan. I want you to meet Lorelei. I want you to meet Dr. Aaron. I want you to meet, whoever. And you guys, I want you to meet Prospect. Prospect's taking a look at the product right now. I thought I would connect us all here just in case you have any questions. Right? So now your support team chimes in with a little message. Hey, Prospect, it's great to meet you. Here's my 1-year anniversary testimonial that I just shared that I thought I might share with you. Boom, drops that in there. Then this person comes in with a voice message. Beverly comes in and says, hey, Prospect, it's so nice to meet you. I've been taking the product for 6 months now, and you know what? I love it. It's worked for me. If you have any questions, I'm available tomorrow. I'd love to meet you. So what happens is this now provides a community for your prospect. Your prospect feels welcomed. They get their information. If they have questions, they have a place where they can ask their questions, and somebody in the upline success team is going to help you be successful and answer their questions. So you, being brand new, you don't have to know anything. You don't have to know anything at all, other than you literally added them to a group, you tagged them on information. Now, what do you tag people on? There's so much information in that group. If I know that my person is interested in weight loss, I'm going to search weight loss in the group, and I'm going to tag them on weight loss testimonials. If I know they're interested in lupus, or they have lupus, or whatever the case might be, I'm going to search that up, find a testimonial that's relative. If not, I'm going to tag them on the process. There's different videos. Yesterday, I tagged my process on that Dr. Joel interview video because she had questions about the product. So, excuse me. So add, tag, and message. Guys, this is powerful because even if you have somebody that's 50 levels deep that comes into your organization that doesn't know network marketing, that doesn't have credibility, that doesn't have MD in front of their name, that isn't a #1 bestseller or isn't a top speaker, right? They're going to be able to have a system that they can be successful with. So you've got to teach those basic fundamental systems, right? Again, I'm not an opponent to building funnels and websites and all of these other things, but these should be kind of the extra, right? This is the foundation. And you've got to be teaching that foundations for duplication to happen in your business, right? So ATM is the first system, in my opinion, the most valuable system that we have. Why? Because if we're focusing on customers, what happens is a lot of times when you bring customers into the business, they'll come in, and once they develop a testimonial, your customer becomes a referral partner, right? A referral partner, in my opinion, is one of the most valuable people in your organization. They don't want to build the business, referral partners, but they're happy to share their testimonial and the health benefits that they're getting with others. They don't have a problem putting up their testimonial up on social media. They just don't want to talk to people. If people have questions, they just want to be able to direct them to you, right? But a referral partner typically starts out as a customer, and when you can get referral partners and show them how, by literally going and just getting 4 customers below them, their product is free, that person will never leave you. So how do you do that? You just bring people in through the ATM system and then work with them as they develop their testimonial to be able to get their product for free. That leads me to our second system, which is our customer acquisition program. We call it CAP, okay? Customer acquisition program. So again, if we're looking at the process that we take somebody through, here's typically what I'm doing. Remember, everything starts with a conversation. Now, let me give you a tip when it comes to having conversations with people. Text them and set a time to have that conversation when at all possible. So if I texted Ryan and I said, hey, Ryan, would love to connect with you for 5 minutes today or tomorrow, have something important that I wanted to talk to you about. When would be a good time? He's going to text me back and go, oh, give me a call today at 3 o'clock. I'm letting him know that I have something important that I want to talk to him about, right? Okay. So I set a time. So I like to text for those appointments to have those conversations. Hey, Dr. Aaron, I have something that I'd love to run by you. Let me know if you have a couple of minutes either today or tomorrow to connect. It's important. She says, great. I'm free tonight. Give me a call. At 7 o'clock. So I like to text for those appointments. And when I have those appointments, here's the customer acquisition program. So first of all, I believe that customers are the glue and the foundation of our business. I'm going to use this as an example. So I'm going to give you some numbers, okay, of our organization. So let's say that I have, in Summer and I, in our organization, we have approximately 8,000 people in our organization, okay? So let's say that this month, 86% of the volume that came into our business was auto ships. Now, new sales in our business this month, are they down a little bit? Probably about 20% off. It's expected. Coronavirus, people have kind of been in a little bit of a fear, uncertainty, and doubt mode. So new people coming into the business, we typically experience between 300 and 400 new people coming into the team every month, okay? Right now, we're probably sitting at about 260, 270. So is the number down a little bit? Just in full transparency, yes, it is. I fully expect that will, as kind of people settle in a little bit, realize that we've got to get back to being focused and building the business and start getting back to the basics, those numbers will go back up. So I'm not worried about that. But I share these numbers with you for a reason. I share these numbers because even though these numbers are down, my auto ships grew by about 10,000 from last month to this month. And my auto ships have made sure that our business and our income is stable. Your customers are the glue of your business because they just keep ordering every single month. Residual income is a function of consumption. I'm going to say that again. Residual income is a function of consumption. So yes, you do need recruiters and business builders in your business, but the customers, they're the ones that are ultimately going to be the glue of your business. Because leaders, sometimes network marketing, they get sketchy. They come in, they've been in the business for a while, they start getting a little bit of an ego, they get a little bit of entitlement. So you know what, they come in and it's like, oh, I've been here 30, 60 days, I'm not getting rich, it's not happening fast enough. There's another shiny object over here, somebody's offering them a great positioning or timing or even a deal or this or that. And so they tend to jump around. But customers, if you build the belief in a customer that eventually turns into a referral partner, that maybe even turns into a business builder, they'll never leave you, right? So my point in sharing all this with you is that is the glue. So customer acquisition is extremely important. And I've been in part of organizations before where all they talk about, I don't know where I put my eraser. What did I do with it? All they talk about, oh, here it is just the business. So do not forget about the customer. So here's how I bring in customers, you guys. So for me, again, here's what this conversation would sound like. And we're wrapping up the call here. So I'm down onto my last point because I promised it would be an hour today. So this is what the conversation sounds like. So I typically connect, right? Catch up. So I'm connecting. How's the family? How are you doing? How are things going? Those type of questions, right? Once I've connected and we've caught up a little bit, I'm going to go through a series of questions. And the question number one is what are you doing right now to boost your immunity? That's been a question I've been asking a lot lately. What are you doing right now to boost your immunity or to stay healthy, right? And that usually will lead them into them telling me whatever vitamins or supplements or whatever that it takes, right? So it kind of replaces the original question that I was asking. If they don't really give me a clear answer, then I get a little more specific and I ask them question, do you take vitamins and supplements on a regular basis? Both of those really are the same question, right? Because if I'm asking this, they're going to tell me they're taking vitamins and supplements. If they just say, oh, I'm just, trying to stay at home right now and social distancing, don't want to really, I'm not, we're staying home and not doing anything. I'm going to say, well, great. Are you taking any vitamins and supplements on a regular basis? Now, mind you, I'm asking questions. So who's in control of the conversation? I am, right? I'm asking questions. Am I selling? Am I pitching? Does it sound like I am going through this sales pitch about how great my product is? No, I haven't even brought up my products. So do you take vitamins and supplements on a regular basis, Tori? Yes. Okay, great. Let me ask you a question, Tori. Are the vitamins and supplements that you're currently taking, are they generic vitamins? Or did you go see a doctor and have something like customized that was made just for you? Oh, they're generic, right? How many people do you know that went and saw a doctor and had a custom formulation of vitamins and supplements made for them, right? So now I just say, oh, great, well, listen, let me ask you this. If all things were equal, Tori, and you had a choice between taking just a generic vitamin that was made for everybody or having your genetics tested and then having something that was formulated specifically for you based on your DNA, if you had the choice, would you take the generic or would you take the custom?
Heck yes, I'd take custom.
You take the custom. Okay, great. So you definitely take the custom. Well, listen, maybe I can help, Tori, because see, Summer and I started a DNA nutrition business. And that's exactly what we do is we actually do a genetic test. And we identify which genes that you've inherited that are linked to a lot of major illness and disease that we face as a society today. And then once we understand which genes that you've inherited from mom and dad, we actually create a custom formulation of vitamins and herbs and superfoods and spices, all plant-based, that are made specifically for you, perfectly paired to your DNA, Tori. So here's my question. If I see a little 7-minute video that explained a little bit more about what you do, would you be willing to take a look at it and let me know what you think?
Heck yes. You were reading my mind.
When do you think you might be able to take a look at it?
I would look at it tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, so if I called you on Wednesday, do you think you'll have had time to watch it by then?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What time on Wednesday is best for you?
10 a.m.
Perfect. I will call you at 10 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and send that right over, Tori. Talk to you on Wednesday. This right here is foolproof. I'm telling you guys, it's foolproof. It is, because you're never met with skepticism. You know why? Because you're not selling anything. You're not pitching anybody. So those of you that are worried, Orlando asked a question earlier. He says, listen, I'm feeling a little bit hesitant and reluctant to reach out to people right now. I don't want them to feel like I'm selling and pitching in an environment where, maybe they're struggling and I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of. And then there's a second part of that question that I'm going to answer in just a minute. But let me tell you something. If we take away the objection, there's not really anything to worry about. All I'm doing is sharing information. I'm notifying people of what I'm up to. I'm just letting people know I started a business. And this is the business that I'm in. But you notice my line of question led them perfectly to they have to give me an answer between whether they'd rather take generic or custom. I think I've only had one smart aleck type of person that was like, oh, I'd rather take the generic, because who knows what they put in the custom. I'm like, great, thanks, talk to you later, bye-bye. Like, they're not who I want to talk to, right? So my point is this is called the customer acquisition program. Guys, it works, because all you're doing is you're getting to that 7-minute video. So I started with a conversation, right? Then I went to what? The 7-minute video. Then I went to what? I ATM them into the DNA Nutrition Testimonials group. And then what did I do? I added them to a text messenger with my upline support team, my power team. And then eventually they're ready to give me a decision. That is a system that will duplicate over and over and over again. My observation is that we have gotten away from this. My observation is that we are out here in the wings, trying to, I don't even know if that even makes sense. Is out there in the wings makes sense? Out there in the wind? I don't even know what the saying is. But we're out there trying all these different things, but we're not following a unified structure. Without structure, there's chaos. And so the reason why I wanted to help is to bring it back to the basics and simplify this for you. Don't overcomplicate this. You have to master a few conversations, right? You're just reaching out to people, having conversations, checking on them, checking on their well-being, asking how they're doing, right? Asking how their family is. If they express concern financials, then you talk to them about, have you ever share your story and talk, have they ever considered starting and, creating an extra income stream for their family? Share your story and why you got started with another business. It doesn't matter if you're making a fortune or not right now, your why is important. And then on the side, if it doesn't go that direction, have the immunity conversation with them and just follow these steps. And if all you did is spent the next few days, you guys just focused on getting people to this. I put a post up yesterday and it didn't get much engagement. And I was worried about how it might be received. But I want to tell you why I put it up. I wanted you to understand that your success in this business is based around your ability to get people to watch a 7-minute video. That's it. How many people can you get to watch that 7-minute video? If you only get 5 people to watch it you're going to have a hard time. If you get 50, you're going to be doing okay. You go get 150, you're going to be doing this by sheer business. And as you start to develop a little more confidence and you start to master this conversation, those percentages will go up. If it were me, at the very least right now, and this is minimums, I'd be doing 5-5-2. 5-5-2. I'd be at least putting 5 new people in process every day. I'd make sure that I have 5 people to follow up with every day. And if you're doing the first part, the second comes naturally. And then the 2 is just collecting decisions, moving into the next exposure, connecting them to my upline, doing whatever I need to do to make sure that I move them into the next exposure. 5-5-2 every day. You want to know what those numbers look like? 5 days a week, take the weekends off. That's 25 people every single week times 4.3. Let's just say times 4, because I'm not very good at math. So that's 100. So 100 people that you put in process. Guys, if you're bad at this business, 10% of them are going to want to be involved in your business in some form or fashion, whether it's a product or a business builder. That's 10 people that you put in the month, and you are on the top leaderboard this month. So it's all about getting back to the basics, guys. You stick with ATM, stick with CAP, having conversations, focus on the duplication systems that work. Don't complicate this for yourself. Just get back to those basics. So that's where we're going to wrap up for tonight. Any questions, comments, suggestions, thoughts?
I want to respond to Orlando real quick. Instead of thinking that we're taking advantage or like presenting an opportunity to someone in a bad time, think about like the potential of saving their life. I just watched a video the other night from a doctor who was talking about why this disease is killing people, why the COVID-19 is killing people. And there were 3 inflammatory responses that he talked about. And it was interleukin-1, interleukin-6, which we know about because it's on our DNA report, and tumor necrosis factor alpha, which is the TNFA on our report. And what's happening is these inflammatory responses are attacking our lungs and making it so people can't breathe. And basically their bodies are killing themselves. So if we can get them on a product that's helped regulating that inflammatory response, their chances of survival when they get this disease or this virus are going to go up exponentially. And again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not making medical claims, but it's just common sense. If you can make that inflammatory response work the way it's supposed to, it's not going to attack your lungs.
And that is because we have the goji berry that has grown at 800 square feet. I appreciate you. That's really important right now. That is extremely relevant. And while we don't want to make claims, you got to be careful about that. There are some good articles that you can share out there that people that could be a good way to create a conversation that eventually leads to this kind of dialogue.
And that video, I mean, I could put that in the legacy page. They actually, he shortened it up because that one's like 35 minutes, and most people aren't going to watch that. I will because I'm a big nerd, but he shortened it down and just kind of made it a little more to the point. So I'll try to share that because, I mean, it is really good information from a medical doctor. I think he's a surgeon, and he just talked about why some people are dying and why some people aren't, and it's because of that inflammatory response.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you, brother. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, feedback? Orlando, are you on tonight? Did you get your questions answered? I don't know if Orlando's here tonight.
Yeah, here. With Ryan, there are some great articles out there. I mean, if you just look, in science articles, just Google, COVID-19 and genetics, and there's a ton of articles of these scientists looking for the genetic link to this. And I've seen a few of them that, quote the IL-6 that talk about the interleukin-6 and the VDR. And, so just kind of look at them, and we've got something that is needed. This is going to be so needed in the coming years. It's incredible. And I don't know, that call Wednesday, the Wednesday with Dr. Jen is going to be incredible because she's going to be talking about that IL-6 again. So encourage people that you've talked to, your prospects, to get on that call. I mean, she's going to bring the fire on that IL-6. She is. So just kind of really want to encourage people to promote that call.
Hey, there's Orlando, my friend. Orlando, do we answer your questions?
Definitely. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan also for the tip. And,
there you go, brother.
Took some notes, man. I really appreciate it. I know I sent you a text with some questions, and I got a lot of them answered today.
Dr. Aaron has a comment. Before you guys go, two things, and then Dr. Aaron, I'm going to let you close it out. Real quickly, everybody, if you feel like you wish that there was someone on your team that watched this that was not here, do me a favor. Go create a lot of noise and legacy for what you learned tonight on the call and build value, right? Everything follows value in getting more people onto this call on Monday night. Because I think we would all agree that we should have a lot more people here listening to this. And that all comes from you guys validating or creating the value in these calls. We'll get the recording posted. So that's the first thing. But, and the second thing, if you're struggling right now with mindset, which look, I don't care who says they're not, we all are, and it's okay. I just want to invite you to come and tune into our morning little Rise and Shine Club deal. We've been doing that, and we've been having a lot of fun with it. And we've been just doing our best to share positivity and help people keep their mindset in the right place. And we're doing our best to share some value there. So come and hang out with us on the Rise and Shine Club in the mornings as well. Dr. Aaron, you got the last word.
Oh, well, first, I just want to say thank you so much, Travis. And I've been doing the system since we joined 16 months ago. And it's just wash, rinse, repeat. It's so simple, but it works so beautifully. But I had a quick question. What's the difference and how does it sound between a cynic and a skeptic? Like, what does a cynic actually say versus a skeptic?
So a skeptic might say, I don't know, Aaron, I mean, does that stuff really work? Like, does that, so you hear how they're leading with questions, but there's skepticism in their voice. I mean, do they really have the ability to be able to test my DNA? And I don't know if I feel like, I mean, who gets my DNA, Aaron? Like, are they, I mean, I'm kind of reluctant to give out my DNA. I don't want people like cloning me, and I don't know. Can they really? I mean, is it real? Are they really putting the ingredients in there that they say that they're putting in there? Is it really all that much different? So do you notice how skeptic is always it's reservation, but there's questions. Tell that there's still. No, that stuff's garbage. I don't even believe that they could do that. There's no possible way. Like no, there really is. Like I could provide you a video. No. You don't even need to. I'm not blah blah blah. They shut you down right away. Or there's just no way I'm giving my DNA to anybody. Like there's just no way that I would do that. Oh no, we're HIPAA compliant, CLIA certified. It's a felony. Doesn't matter. Like I would never give like those type of people. I don't even waste my time with. Right. So one is kind of like does that stuff really work? I don't know. I'm not sure if that kind of stuff. It's just a difference in attitude, I guess, would be the best way to describe it.
You don't want those people in your business anyway, or the negativity.
Somebody asked me this question. I really want to address this. I know I said it was done, but I think this could help somebody that's on this call. What if I launched another business 6 months ago and I've talked to everybody about that business? Anybody ever felt like that before? Who do I go talk to? Just talk to everybody, okay? Let me give you the answer to that question. I'm going to help you frame your mindset a little bit here. I am a network marketing consultant, okay? So are you. You know why? Because you provide services to network marketing companies, and they're damn glad to have you. They're damn fortunate to have you. And at the end of the day, my allegiance, yes, I promote Euphoria, and I really love Euphoria. And as long as Euphoria ships the products on time, they pay their people well, and the product continues to work, and they don't mess with it, I will continue to provide consulting services for them. But at the end of the day, my business is Travis and Summer Enterprises. My business is Flaherty Enterprises. And Flaherty Enterprises, provide services to direct sales companies. And at the end of the day, yes, over the last 15 years, have I promoted a number of different products? You better believe it, because I'm a consultant. That's what I do. That's what my company does, is I provide these services for these companies. And I have a very strict criteria before I would even consider adding somebody into or taking on a client with Flaherty Enterprises. I have a very strict criteria. But you know what? Just this, if I'm promoting it, then I can promise you I vetted it in time and checking it out. So if somebody says to me, man, we're a company like a year ago, of course I was. That's what I do for a living. I'm a network marketing consultant, right? So it's all about the way you frame it. I'm in Euphoria, but I own my own business, right? Euphoria is the vehicle that I use for my own business that I'm building. And I'll be honest with you guys, and I don't apologize. If that vehicle broke down, I'd go find another one, because of my business that I'm in. So at the end of the day, my goal is to find one company and be in it forever, and hopefully Euphoria is it, and feel pretty good about it after however long in. But at the end of the day, guys, my obligation is to my family. My business is my number one priority, and I will always align myself with the best. And things are always changing. And here's another thing to consider. Every product has a life cycle. I was promoting great energy drinks back in healthy energy drinks. They were relevant. Energy drinks that just came out. Some people were dying from drinking all these horrible energy drinks. We came out with a Corolla-based energy drink, and you know what? I promoted it, and it was a great product. And you know what? I promoted it for a while, and then you know what? I started promoting something else. Why? Because there became a saturation in energy drinks, and it came to the point where it's a little harder, and it was just kind of a time to on. I don't apologize for that. So if you're calling somebody 3 months, 6 years later, and you've got something else that you're promoting, congratulations, because that's what you do for a living. And the sooner that you acknowledge that and accept that that's what you do, and that's what Orlando New Wave Enterprises does for a living, you got nothing to apologize about. Does that help? Cool. Love you guys. I'm going to go eat dinner real quick. So appreciate you guys. If you guys got some value out of today, go let everybody know in Legacy so that they'll tune into the replay. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Opportunity call tomorrow night.
Travis.
Okay? See you guys a little later.
Thank you guys. See you guys later.
Thank you.